family, we welcome you. Governor Whitmer, where are you? There you are. Lieutenant Governor, Speaker of the House, Senate Majority Leader, and to everyone here, we are honored that you have all joined us. Together we will witness the signing of this important bipartisan bill. We will celebrate the Republicans and Democrats coming together in unity to find a positive solution. This is a powerful moment this is a powerful moment for the service industry and for the hard-working people who keep it running. We opened our doors at Mom's Restaurant over 30 years ago, and on our very first day, my husband Gus hired Cheryl. Cheryl has been at our side ever since. This bill is a triumph for Cheryl and everyone in the food and beverage industry who rely heavily on tips. This legislation ensures that more of their hard-earned money stays directly in their pockets. The ripple effect on our local economy will be significant. Employees will experience greater job satisfaction and have the ability to increase their spending. As a small business owner, I appreciate how this bill helps streamline payroll, saves me time, and makes it easier to attract and retain staff in this tight labor market. It's a big win for our industry. Thank you, everyone, for signing this. This is wonderful. So once again, I thank all of you for coming, and now I would like to introduce Senator Darren Henry.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trenton. It was great to get up this morning and drive 5 minutes to this event today. I really appreciated that. Proud to be here today at Mom's. It's a restaurant that I've been to many times, taken many meetings with local elected officials, and seen so many residents who love this restaurant dearly, so thank you all so much for serving our community. This budget was not easy. It was not easy. But we can proudly stand here today and say that we made progress toward making our state more affordable for working and middle-class families in downriver and across Michigan. In this budget, we ended the tax on tips, because at a time when our state and country are dealing with an affordability crisis, more of the dollars that you earn should stay in your pocket. We also ended the tax on overtime for that same reason. And we ended the tax on Social Security here at the state, because our seniors can use that money in their pockets right now. Combined with last term's expansion of the Working Families Tax Credit and the repeal of the pension tax, we've passed the biggest tax cuts for working people in Michigan history. These changes mean more money in your pockets. We also protected the free breakfast and lunch program and continued record funding for our public schools. We passed a bipartisan roads deal because we can't afford to keep paying for popped tires and busted rims, or for those of you who live in our community, we cannot afford to lose time at a blocked train. This budget puts working people first, like we have focused on year after year, and at a time when Washington is stuck in gridlock, Michigan is showing what good governance looks like with bipartisan buy-in. It wasn't easy, but the people of Michigan got a good budget because we worked together. Thank you. Up next we have Speaker Hall.
Well, thank you. When I put this idea forward earlier this year, really I looked at the work that the Congress had done and President Trump on the Working Families Tax Credit and the no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And I thought, our Michigan workers are going to expect that they not only have no tax on their tips, overtime, and Social Security at the federal level, but they're going to expect that at the state level too. I mean, how disappointing if they think they're getting no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security, except when it comes to their state tax. So the House Republicans, we put that idea forward, and in the negotiations, I'm grateful Governor Whitmer embraced it and supported it. And together we can celebrate this today, that there's going to be no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security for our Michigan workers and seniors. This should give them more of their paycheck, more of their life savings that they can put to better use in these times, which I think will benefit them a lot. So we're grateful we were able to do that. That's just one of the many good things that we did in this budget, and really amplifies our work earlier this year where we really saved the restaurant industry and protected tipped workers in the restaurant industry, and now giving them no tax on tips is really going to help them much more in these difficult times. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here this morning, and thank you to Moms for so graciously hosting us. The overall budget framework and the implementation bill that will be signed today is a huge win for Downriver. We are finally able to provide relief to our hardworking families and seniors with no tax on tips, overtime, or Social Security. And not only does this budget put money back into the pockets of those who earned it, this budget is also transparent. It cuts wasteful government spending, and it prioritizes record funding for our schools, for public safety, and local infrastructure and roads. One of these projects being $10 million for the West Road Bridge right here in Trenton, which I drove across to get here this morning. You can see the barrels and the visible need for attention, and so I was happy to work across the aisle to bring this win home for our community. Same goes for the $5 million that we secured for the Downriver Career Tech Center, which will serve a long list of our Downriver communities. Our skilled trades are so important, and this will be an incredible asset to our students. When you care deeply about your community, you put aside partisan differences and you fight to bring home wins, and that's what everyone here today did with this budget, and that's what I will continue to do to ensure that Michigan, and specifically Downriver, is a great place to work, live, and raise a family. So thank you, and with that, I have the honor of introducing a server here at Mom's, everyone's favorite diner in Trenton, Laura.
All right, Laura.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura and I proudly worked in the service industry for 15 years, and every single one of them was at Mom's restaurant. To me, this is like a family. It's a place that brings people together, supports local workers, and strengthens our community. And Trenton is a pillar of Michigan, a city built on hard work, heart, and unity. It's communities like ours that keep Michigan moving forward, and businesses like Mom's Restaurant that make a real difference. Governor, your leadership has made a real impact on the communities like ours. And as a single mom, the bill that's passing means more than just financial relief. It's hope. It's a chance to help save a little bit of money and put a little bit of money in our pockets and make us work a little bit harder for the money that we deserve. It's not having to wait for our next paycheck or just be able to help our kids or our family or go on vacation. Your leadership is helping us build a Michigan where everyone has a chance to thrive. So now I'd like to introduce Governor Whitmer.
All right, I am thrilled to be here with all of you, and thrilled to be here with all of you, Republicans and Democrats, coming together to get the state budget done. It was no easy feat. It took a lot of hard negotiation. The Speaker of the House and the Senate Majority Leader drive a hard bargain, but we were able to get it done. And I am excited to be able to celebrate 3 bipartisan tax cuts that are going to lower costs for seniors, working families across Michigan. So we got to start by thanking the folks at Moms. This is a place, just like so many across Michigan, that is the manifestation of an individual dream, but also a community place, a gathering place. And I am grateful to Sia and Gus building this place from the ground up, turning it into a beloved Trenton institution. So thank you for hosting us. You should read the reviews online, by the way. Michiganders have good case, and apparently they love Moms. So order up. Yes. Representative, Senator, Leader Puri, thank you all for being here with us as well. And of course, Leader Brinks is not here, but Speaker Hall is. Thank you for all the work that it took to get this done on time. So the budget I signed on Monday cuts taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. I'm not signing it today because we had no time to waste. I wanted to get it signed, but we're here to celebrate it and talk about it. You know, each one of these bills would have been a big deal in and of itself, but I'm thrilled that we were able to get all 3 done on the same day. I'm going to talk about each one very briefly. First, I want to talk about tips. You know, as any server, bartender, or delivery driver will tell you, tips are often the difference between making or missing a rent payment, buying fresh veggies and fruit for your family, or finally making a car repair that you've been putting off. Michiganders with hourly jobs are often on their feet all day long. They earn their tips, and they deserve to keep them. And I want to say thanks to the bipartisan budget, tips will no longer be taxed at the state level here in Michigan. This tax cut is going to directly benefit up to 300,000 Michiganders, saving them an average of $400 a year on their state taxes. When you combine the state and federal tax cuts on tips, it's about $1,500 in savings for the average tipped worker in Michigan. That's a big deal for people who are working hard every single day, including the staff here at Mom's Restaurant. I also want to note that earlier this year we secured a bipartisan deal to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2027 and increase the tip minimum wage by the largest amount ever. As costs go up, in a bipartisan way, we've been able to give people more relief so they can keep more money in their pockets. Second, overtime. Michiganders, no matter what they do, we work hard. That's who we are. Whether you are working in construction, manufacturing, healthcare, public safety, or food service, many people work overtime, some every single week. They do important work, fixing our roads, building houses, assembling cars, caring for patients, patrolling streets, and feeding customers. They deserve to keep more of their hard-earned money, especially when it comes to the overtime hours that they're asked to work and sacrifice for family and time off. This tax cut directly benefits up to 500,000 Michiganders, saving them an average of $500 a year on taxes, state taxes alone. When you add this to the federal tax relief, it's about $2,000 in savings annually. I'll also point out that our budget's big investment to fix the damn roads. How did I forget the phrase, right? To fix the roads is going to create a lot of construction jobs across Michigan. So by cutting taxes on overtime, we'll be rewarding crews who are going to work hard to make our roads safer and smoother. And finally, I want to talk about Social Security. Michiganders who worked hard their lives and paid Social Security taxes over decades deserve to see more of their benefits. With this bipartisan budget, we're ending state taxes on Social Security. This tax cut will directly benefit up to 40,000 people a year, saving them an average of $500 annually. It's a game changer for a lot of seniors who live on a fixed income and are finding it harder and harder to get by as inflation and higher prices squeeze their pockets. So I'm proud that we were able to get this done in this budget as well. These new tax breaks build on the work that we started in 2023 with the retirement tax and the Working Families Tax Credit. That was and still remains the biggest middle-class tax break in Michigan history. In the budget that I just signed, we continue to roll back the retirement tax, which is $1,000 back in the pockets of 500,000 seniors, and that continues to climb. And soon, every Michigander who had this put on them out of the blue will end up keeping more of their money. I also want to acknowledge the Working Families Tax Credit because we're going to get close to tax season soon. We got to make sure that people know about this benefit. The legislation that I signed increased our match of the Earned Income Tax Credit, or the Working Families Tax Credit, by 500%. And so this helps about 650,000 families keep $3,800 more in their family budgets. It's a big deal. So I'm really proud that this is an extension of that work, that we were able to get it done in a really hard political climate nationally, to show that Michigan could get it done. We worked hard, we stayed at the table, and that people in Michigan are better off because of it. And I think that this should be a source of pride for all of us. So thank you all for being here, and thank you to the legislators for help getting this over the finish line, and for Moms for hosting us today. Thank you.
Folks, aren't you going to come behind the bar for the governor to sign the legislation? Oh, I'm sorry.
We can be allowed to come. We can be allowed to come around.
Media, give us 1 moment to get everyone set.
Can we come around?
You gotta get in. Everyone behind the bar.
Perfect.
If we started here, negotiations would have gone faster.
Thank you. I got it.
Thank you.
I think the cornerstone of this is that Governor Whitmer and I forged a strong working relationship. We did that when we went to the White House to visit with President Trump, and many activities we worked on since then. I mean, we brought Selfridge, a new fighter mission. We helped the Great Lakes. So, and then we started early with coming together on really saving the restaurant tip credit and protecting people's jobs and sick leave. So I think a couple of those early issues, I saw her sincereness about working with President Trump and working with Republicans this time around. And that opened a door where her and I built a strong working relationship. And then I came out when I became Speaker and said, we're going to fix the roads. She saw that and embraced it. And then together, the two of us drove this budget process behind the premise that we were going to fix the roads. Not everyone at the table wanted to fix the roads, but I think together we willed that to happen. And along the way, I was able to convince her that we should do no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security to really amplify the benefits that the Republican Congress and President Trump had pushed through at the federal level, because I really thought Michigan workers and seniors would look at it and say, I thought I was going to get no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security. Why am I paying that at the state level? And thankfully, Governor Whitmer listened, and we were able to include that in the budget.
How would you characterize the relationship moving forward, though? Not that things are going to always be perfect, disagreements are healthy, but yet it doesn't have to come down to the last minute all the time either. So can people look at this as hopefully a smoother road ahead as far as political discourse, for lack of a better way to ask?
I think when you're in these times, like when Governor Whitmer and I were in the Oval Office with President Trump, I didn't criticize her for the way that was handled. When we did a budget deal like this, you got to trust each other. I've kept my commitments and word to her, and she's done the same with me. And those are the building blocks that build trust, so you can do more deals in the future. And the next deal we're going to try to do is to really tackle Michigan's economic development. I want to eliminate some of the programs that have been in existence the last few years. They don't work. The programs that give cash to big corporations that aren't creating jobs. But I acknowledge we need to create something to make Michigan compete. And so our goal is to work together to make that happen this year.
So funny. It's so funny.
She's one of my favorite people.
I know I should touch base.
I mean, number one, we must eliminate SOAR. I've already defunded it in this budget. And that was something Governor Whitmer agreed to.
I usually sit
cut the business
right here.
attraction
I couldn't get my spot this morning.
I'm going to take a corner spot.
I'm going to go get in there.
I won't take your spot.
And come up with
My
some
name's
kind
in the
of
back.
incentive
No, I'm kidding.
Just say, you know what?
Exactly.
Relinquish these voluntarily.
Exactly. Go on, honey.
I don't have concerns about that. I mean, I've shown one way you can do it is by raising the tax. You raise the tax, and then they can decide whether they want to keep the mega credits. They're just going to pay the tax, a much higher tax. They may voluntarily choose to go on the corporate income tax if we do it that way. And that's how the House Republicans did it in our plan that passed the House. But, you know, realistically, I think that we'll come up with a way to do it where they'll voluntarily leave. And I think they must voluntarily leave the mega credits, but also it'll be a better deal for the state of Michigan. So it'll be less liability for the state of Michigan. It'll be money back for the taxpayers, and hopefully new incentives will be tied to job creation, and not the current alignment where right now GM lays off 15,000 workers, they get to keep their incentives. That doesn't make any sense. We want them to keep it, but we want them to grow, and the incentives should go to growing, not just retaining.
When I look at this legislative session with the divided legislature, a lot of what you all have been able to get done is because of the pressure points, the deadline on the minimum wage, the sick leave, the budget has to get done. What is the pressure point for economic development? I know you all want to get this done by the end of the year, but how is that going to happen without any sort of external pressure to come through?
Yeah, and the way I would describe that is the pressure is what moves Leader Brinks. I'm telling you, no matter when we passed the House budget, that deal was not going to get done until the end. And the reason for that is because Leader Brinks didn't want to move on transparency on earmarks. Now, fortunately, when the government was imminently going to shut down, she did, and then we got a deal, and we did a continuing resolution, the government shutdown prevention plan, and then we got a budget deal done, and we're celebrating today. I would just say that I think what's going to push that deadline is the commitment that Leader Brinks made to the governor and myself that she's going to get this done by the end of the year. That's going to create the pressure.
Any thought before we let you go on the federal level and the budget talks going on now medically that could impact many constituents in your district and out rural Michigan, in addition to just the damage it does nationally to be hanging with an open budget here?
Well, when we needed more time to get our budget done here in Michigan, we passed a continuing resolution. The Democrats have passed a continuing resolution 13 times under Biden as president. And so really it's a normal thing to pass a continuing resolution. I don't think they should be having a lot of these debates and fights and leveraging a government shutdown to do it. The time to have that is once the continuing resolution is passed, and if the Democrats want to give illegal aliens health care, they can have that discussion. Once the gross domestic product is at risk, Michigan is going to lose a lot of economic activity. Our federal contractors aren't going to get repaid for the time off, and ultimately, if this goes on much longer, our federal workers are at risk of not getting a paycheck. And we face that at the state level. And when you look at the reality of your state or federal workers not getting a paycheck potentially for weeks and weeks and weeks, that's a pretty heavy thing to leverage for your political goals.
I have to stop you though on the illegal alien comment. By law, they don't get benefits. They don't get medical benefits. They don't get Social Security. We may be talking about people going into an emergency room getting health care, but that's a different story. So the Democrats push back directly. By law, what's being claimed about illegal immigrants getting health care is not accurate.
Democrats are asking for health care for illegal aliens as one of the things they're pushing as this government shutdown. I'm just saying that should be a conversation that occurs once the government's open. They can advocate for whatever they want, but they shouldn't be using the potential of our federal workers not getting paid to leverage that. They should have those policy debates once the government's open. They did that 13 times under Biden. We just did it in Michigan. It's a common thing when you need more time to get a budget done to extend it, not to leverage your points while the government's shut down.
So you don't acknowledge that it is against the law for immigrants to get health care. That's currently the law.
Yeah, I mean, they want illegal aliens to get health care, and that's why they're shutting the government down.
You understand they say that that's not the case?
Well, I know the Democrats pretty well, and many of them are very dishonest. We know what they want. They want illegal aliens to get health health care, and that's why they're shutting down the government.
Appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Speaker Hall, I joined a little bit late. I'm sorry. Can you just talk again about why today's bill signing was so important to you in these cuts?
Yeah, do I look at the camera?
I'm just going to look a little off camera at me.
Like you?
Yep.
Okay, got it. Yeah, well, I mean, President Trump and the Republican Congress have given Michigan workers relief at the federal level on taxes, tips, and overtime. There's no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And I thought, why would we charge a Michigan tax on tips, overtime, Social Security? We could amplify the working families tax credit that President